Tonight, Jordan and the Doug Collins coach Bulls face the bruised and banged up Boston Celtics. Life without the great Larry Bird has been a frustrating struggle for the tradition-rich men in green. Can it be that the dreams of another championship are such a distant reality?
TBS Sports presents NBA Basketball, America's Game. Tonight's game is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. It's as real as it gets. By Honda, who invites you to experience the CRX SI at your local Honda dealer. By Wendy's, the best burgers in the business. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chicago. Along with Rick Barry, this is Bob Neal from the stadium. The Chicago Bulls very happy to be back home here in Chicago after a grueling 6-game, 2-week road trip. And the Bulls face the Boston Celtics, a team the Bulls beat this year early in November up at Boston Garden. And the Celtics, of course, everybody aware, Larry Bird is not here. He will be out about 3 more months with the bone spur surgery to both feet. And the Celtics are hurting in the backcourt. Tonight, Danny Ainge is ill with the flu, won't play. Brian Shaw isn't feeling all that good. And Dennis Johnson just came in from Boston. He's suffering from a sore Achilles tendon on his right foot. And the Boston Celtics, no question about it, are a hurting basketball team.
Well, yes, they are. One of the writers here, in fact, referred to them as cornflakes without the banana. Also, Cheers without Diane. Well, that's true when you don't have Larry Bird around, but yet cornflakes is still pretty good, and Cheers is still one of the better rated shows. This team has won 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Not a lot of teams in the NBA can boast a record of that over the last 10 ball games. However, you must remember the Boston Celtics still have 2 of the premier big men in the game, Robert Parish and Kevin McHale. You can expect tonight to see these 2 men have a lot of action inside because, Bob, if they're going to win this game tonight, McHale and Parish have to come through for them. They've got to slow the tempo of the game down and exploit the inside activity.
And the Chicago Bulls are not exactly going through deja vu from last year. This time last year, Doug Collins was coach of the month. The Bulls were 12-3, but this year, 7-8, and a team struggling.
Well, yes, they are, Bob. They get off to an 8-9 record on the road. Their first 9 games on the road were very, very successful for them. This year, they're making a transition. They're trying to learn to play with the center and Bill Cartwright. The place to do that is certainly not out on the road. That inconsistency has hurt them. They lost 4 ball games on this road trip. 3 of those losses could have easily been turned around had they been a bit more consistent. 1 bad quarter, and that's enough, of course, to kill you on the road. Here at home tonight, they must be aggressive defensively, get a running game going, and rebound to get that running game going. Otherwise, the Celtics will beat them to death inside.
We'll be back here at Chicago Stadium in just a moment for the opening lineups and the tip-off. But right now, let's go back to our studios in Atlanta and Craig Sager.
Thank you, Bob and Rick. A busy night in the NBA, 10 games on the scoreboard. We'll have highlights at halftime. Last Friday night, our player of the game was Magic Johnson, who had a triple-double in points, rebounds, and assists. Today, Magic was named the player of the week. He sealed the honor with this 37-foot three-pointer at the buzzy Sunday against Washington, a game in which the Lakers won in overtime. Johnson is leading the team in scoring, rebounding, and assists. I'll be back at halftime along with Roy Johnson. Now, stay tuned for the Bulls and the Celtics.
Another sellout crowd at Chicago Stadium. Been a beautiful day in Chicago today. Temperature up around 50 degrees, and the folks are ready to watch their Bulls against the Celtics. Let's have a look at the starting lineup for Boston, and it's a juggled lineup. We told you Danny Ainge is sick with the flu tonight. Dennis Johnson nursing a sore Achilles tendon. So it'll be Brian Shaw and second-year Reggie Lewis starting at the guards. Parish at center. Lowhouse and McHale will be at the forwards. And there's Jimmy Rogers in his first year as head coach of the Boston Celtics, replacing K.C. Jones. For the Chicago Bulls, Grant and Sellers at the forwards. Cartwright, who came here from New York for Oakley at center. Sam Vincent and Michael Jordan at the guards. And Vincent, who's had an up-and-down year, had an excellent outing against Dallas for Doug Collins, and they hope he can continue that. Vincent had 12 assists and 18 points in that ball game. See the series, the Celtics lead it big time, but this year, November 9th, the Bulls won at Boston Garden in their opener. They play 4 times this year, do these 2 teams. There you saw the officials, Jake O'Donnell, Blaine Reichelt, and Ron Olsiak.
And of course, in that game, the victory by Chicago, Michael Jordan went for 52 big ones.
Inside. And Cartwright is fouled as he tried the little jump hook. Lowhouse picks up his first personal of the ball game.
And of course, Bob, this is an element of the game that the Chicago Bulls did not have last year, a bona fide inside player like Bill Cartwright. And of course, with him challenging the big men in there, if he could get one of those two key players, Parish or McHale, into foul difficulty, that will really make it a big problem for Jimmy Rogers and the Boston Celtics.
Cartwright averaging 13.8 points a game and 7.1 rebounds, and is only shooting 66% at the line, which is unusual. He's nearly an 80% free throw shooter for his career. Bulls 2, Celtics nothing. Opening moments from Chicago Stadium. Here's the Celtics #1 draft choice, Brian Shaw from University of California, Santa Barbara. Lowhouse from Iowa, the 7-footer. 18. Rebound Vincent. Bulls on the run, leading 2-0. Horace Grant over McHale. Horace Grant from the corner. Grant's picked up some of the rebounding slack lost by Oakley. He's averaging 9.3 per game. And Shaw stepped on the baseline. Celtics turn it over, trailing 4-0. Shaw's a big point guard, 6'6". Lob into Cartwright, but an offensive foul on the push-off. And it's on Cartwright. That's why he was so open for the lob.
Well, he actually had great position, and he didn't need to push off. I think Bill realized that, and it's so often that the player who has this, he has the good position right there. He's on the inside, and he didn't need to push. A good pass would have worked just as easily.
Here's Reggie Lewis. Good defense by Jordan right in his face. Jordan hadn't touched the ball yet. Now he does. Oh, my. He's fouled on the reverse attempt.
Foul on Kevin McHale, his first, second team foul.
Jordan is averaging 36.3 points per game. You see it was fouls on McHale. The next best scorer for the Bulls as they try to achieve balance is Cartwright at 13.8.
Well, when somebody's scoring 36 a game, it's hard to get a lot of balance. He's taking so many of the shots, but again, a lot of coaches probably would prefer to have somebody at 25, another guy at 20, and somebody at 18, and give you 3 potential threats to be able to come up with the big game. On this team, that's usually not the case. It's rare for somebody else to get 30, although Sellers did it the other night.
Celtics have yet to score. Shot clock down to 9 for Lewis. Again, Jordan right in his face, but McHale is there. 5-2 Bulls. Vincent on the drive. Rebound Parish. Stripped away by Jordan. That's his 51st steal of the year to Grant.
That's the kind of defense Doug Collins wants. Try and have your defense create turnovers, get the running game going. And Michael Jordan, the 22nd timeout right now, is great at roaming. He's very similar to a player like Fat Lever for Denver. Players that the coaches know they have great instincts for the game, and they give them the green light to do a lot of that roaming on defense. We'll watch the play again as Michael Jordan came from the weak side. He anticipated quite well, knocked the ball away. And, of course, Horace Grant took off down the court. And Michael, being the alert player that he is, throws a perfect lead pass. And Grant takes it in for the easy 2.
So the Boston Celtics looking at the wrong end from their point of view of a 7-2 score with 9:44 to go in the first quarter. And Jimmy Rogers struggling with his first year at the helm of the Celtics. Larry Bird with the bone spur surgery, and the Celtics trying to learn to play without Larry. And some of the veterans, particularly Parish and McHale, say they get insulted by the constant press saying the Celtics can't play without Bird, can't play without Bird. I mean, there's some all-stars on this team already in addition to Bird, but they've been suffering. Lowhouse on the drive.
It's the type of moves that Lowhouse needs to make. That will free him up for some of the outside shooting that he's very capable of doing. You must establish a well-rounded game to be able to make it in this league as a player.
This is Lowhouse's 6th start of the year. Jordan comes off the screen. Brian Shaw. He's a big point guard, 6'6". Lewis in trouble with the double team. Boston ball with 15 on the shot clock.
And Bob, if you're not well-rounded, you better be great in another area. I mean, like a great shooter. There are some great shooters who did make it, who couldn't drive very well, but you better be great at it.
Nice defensive play by Horace Grant. Jordan throws the ball away, and the Celtics will take it back. 7-4 Bulls. Celtics can pull to within 1.
Doug Collins, member of the all-gum-chewing coaches team.
5 turnovers in this game already. 3 for Chicago. Good block by Sellers. Grant gets down on the wing very quickly. Takes the assist from Sam Vincent.
And again, it was Chicago's defense that created the break situation.
Parish over Cartwright.
That's where Chicago got away with an illegal defense that time. Brad Sellers is in the middle of the lane guarding no one.
Horace Grant, defended by Kevin McHale, finds the open Brad Sellers, who has the good perimeter range. Bulls by 5. 8:07 to go, first quarter. Along with Rick Barry, Bob Neal with you from Chicago. Off the baseline screen, Reggie Lewis. Lost out of bounds, last off of Kevin McHale. Excuse me, off Grant, Horace Grant. It'll be Boston ball. Looked like it was off McHale. To Parish. There's the double team. He tried to put it up anyway. Lewis gets it in. Not pretty, but they got 2 out of it.
And Jake O'Donnell saying, fellas, let's settle down inside, as we had a little extracurricular activity going on there. A few limbs were flailing where they should not have been.
There's a good picture of Jake O'Donnell. 3 officials, of course, this year in the NBA.
And it's worked very well.
Jordan tries the baseline. The reverse won't go. Too many green jerseys down there. McHale comes away with it. Swarming Chicago defense. Nice pass from Parish. Shaw missed the layup. And Vincent, he had 18 against Dallas. He's been inconsistent this year, but Collins hopes, after having a couple of good games on the road, that he can stay in his good mode.
You can see, Bob, how Chicago's really trying to push the ball up the court every opportunity.
Reggie Lewis. Lewis from Northeastern, second year in the league.
They talked before the game to Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson says, Rick, you watch and see. Lewis is going to become a really outstanding player in this league. Dennis Johnson just was raving about him.
4 Chicago turnovers already. Shot clock down to 9. Nice pass from McHale to Lewis for the jam. And the Bulls lead narrowed to only 1 point. And the Boston team surely is different in the half-court. Without DJ, without Ainge, without Bird, a whole different look. That was McHale out high on the post, making the pass. We have a timeout on the floor with 6:09 to go in the first quarter.
And here's a great replay to show you lack of communication. 35, Lewis for the Celtics, goes, sets the screen on Horace Grant. McHale comes off. Jordan switches out. They don't talk and comes out with him. And McHale spots the open Lewis underneath, who takes it home. That's why you must talk on defense.
You see the story of the Boston Celtics with their injuries and their illnesses. Repeating again, Danny Ainge has the flu. Dennis Johnson is here tonight. He tried to warm up. He has a strained Achilles tendon on his right foot. This is the 4th game that Dennis Johnson has missed. And Brian Shaw is playing tonight, although he, too, has a touch of the flu.
Well, Dennis said that the injury feels real good, but the doctors don't want to rush him back in, and they're going to have him wait out this game.
From Jordan to Grant, he gets the tip in. Lewis has 6 points for Boston. Grant 8 for Chicago. Lewis tried the penetration, but Michael Jordan was there. Parish gets the loose ball. And we've got a traveling call on Lewis. He was aided in the travel, being hit by Sam Vincent.
Should Sam get an assist though on the turnover then?
I think so. They're even up at 4 turnovers apiece. Now they got the switch, a mismatch of sorts here. Jordan blows past the slower Lowhouse. Lowhouse is pretty fast for a 7-footer, but not that fast. 17-12 Bulls. Parish over Cartwright.
Robert Parish.
Parish with 4 points in the ball game. Cartwright with 2. They're both free throws. Trying to get it to Cartwright now. Shaw with good defense on Vincent. Now Cartwright scores his first field goal. (19-14) Chicago. Opening quarter from Chicago Stadium. Grant defending McHale.
Kevin McHale.
McHale leading the Celtics in scoring, 23.1 per game, 7.5 rebounds a game. Bulls by 3. Lowhouse with a powerful rebound. Loose ball foul on Chicago. That's 2 fouls on Cartwright.
There we see the work before on Bill Cartwright as he battles for position, gets down into the paint. The ball is not thrown properly to him, and he just makes a good move on the spin, fade away, no way to block that. And when you're shooting the ball in that fashion, not much you can do about it.
The 2 first quarter fouls on Cartwright gets him some bench time. Dave Corzine comes in. McHale missing. Grant rebounded. Jordan with the no-look to the cutting Sellers, who was also not looking. And it's the 5th turnover. On Friday night, Detroit comes to Atlanta at 8:05 Eastern Time. Rick Barry will be joined by Skip Carey for that telecast.
And that should be a real battle royal.
Hawks undefeated down at the Omni. Detroit 9-2 on the road. McHale has 6.
Well, both teams trying to stick to their game plans. The Celtics hammering it inside. The Bulls trying to get the running game going.
Jordan from about 20. He has 5. He's 47 points away from his total against Boston at the Garden in early November. Shaw answers from the perimeter. Brian Shaw.
They need him to start shooting that shot. He's been shooting only about 37%, 38% so far in the season, and he's a better shooter than that.
Brian Shaw at 6'6", was only 5'10" when he was in high school. Dave Corzine with the hook shot from the baseline. His first basket of the night. Bulls up by 3. Feathery smooth, Brian Shaw. Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis.
I agree with Dennis Johnson. Lewis looking better all the time. And the Celtics have to have him look good. Vincent. Well, they're both shooting the eyes out. 25-22 Chicago. 2 minutes to go, first quarter.
Timeout.
And the Celtics call a timeout with 2:13 remaining in quarter number 1, and the Bulls leading 25-22. Chicago up by 3 points with 2:13 to go in the first quarter. Reggie Lewis, who averages about 9.5 points a game in 20 minutes, an average playing time for him, has 8 in the first quarter so far tonight.
Well, this is the type of things you don't want to have happen when you're going up against a team like Boston. Doug was concerned about that. He knows that they've got the great players in McHale and in Parish, but when you have players like Ainge out of it and you have Dennis Johnson out of it, of course, Larry Bird, you worry about the Reggie Lewises. You don't want them to have a big game. You see both teams shooting exceptionally well with those statistics there.
With the ball number 4, Jim Paxson just into the ball game for Boston in place of Reggie Lewis.
both Paxtons in the game. I have to tell you, this is cute. Before the ball game, the teams are shooting around, and they're joking, saying that the big question was which one of the Paxtons did Mama Paxton like best? And so, of course, McHale was kidding and telling them, obviously, she liked John a heck of a lot better. And he said, and so do we. Of course, they were teasing Jim. McHale has that type of personality.
First free throws of the game for Boston. So Jim plays for Boston. He's 6'6". Played at Dayton. John for Chicago is 6'2", and played at Notre Dame. John, the younger brother.
Of course, their dad also played.
Scottie Pippen in for Chicago also, recovering from back surgery. Doug Collins says he's more flexible and enjoying the game much more after that. 5 on the shot clock for the Bulls. Wonder if Scottie knows it. Apparently he does. This is the long one from three-point range. And the Celtics could take the lead for the first time in the ball game on this possession. Jim Paxson. Lowhouse open. Gets it to Parish. Now the shot clock down to 7 for Boston. Jim Paxson. This is Vincent runs with the Bulls. Lowhouse kept it alive, almost stolen by Grant, and was finally. Corzine missed the layup. He couldn't decide whether to jam it or not. Out of bounds, Boston ball.
Scottie makes a good pass, and Corzine just lost the handle as he was going up for the dunk.
Less than a minute to go in the quarter. Lowhouse, or about 20. And Lowhouse. And the Celtics have taken the lead for the first time in the game, 26-25. Bulls jumped out 7-2 early.
But normally during the course of this season, the Chicago Bulls have outscored their opponents in the first and fourth periods and have had letdowns in the second and the third as Grandison comes in for the Celtics.
Rookie free agent from New Orleans. Grandison, 6'8", 215 pounds.
And Mark Akers also. I'll tell you one thing, a lot of times adversity like this can help a team out, Bob, especially if it happens early in the season. All of these players now are going to be getting more playing time than they normally would have, even though Jimmy Rogers is planning on using them more than Casey had used them last year. And now, by the time the season's over and Bird comes back, they'll have a fresh Larry Bird with an experienced team.
4 on the shot clock for the Bulls. Pippen throws it away. It's 3 on 2, and Pippen blocks it.
And Paxson got rammed into the back support. I think he's okay, but he was shaken up.
27 seconds to go in the quarter, 19 on the shot clock.
Watch the finish of this play. You'll see Pippen make the great defensive move as the good bounce pass by Shaw leads into Paxson. He does not use the left hand, got hit with the body and rammed into the backboard. It was a good block, but he was hit with the body. There should have been a foul.
14 on the shot clock for the Celtics, up by 1 point. 18 seconds to go in the quarter. There's an 8-second differential in the shot clock and the game clock. Lob into McHale. Came in with a lot of mustard on it. He couldn't quite handle it. Now 3 seconds in the quarter from half court. Pippen had a little more time, but took the shot prematurely. And at the end of one, the Celtics have a 1-point lead. From Chicago Stadium, Celtics lead it by 1 after 1, even though Chicago jumped out to a 7-2 lead early in the quarter. McHale and Lewis have 8 points for the Celtics. Grant has 8 points for Chicago. Jordan has 5.
Well, as you look at the first quarter statistics, you see, as we mentioned, both teams shooting exceptionally well in this ball game. Quite a number of those that came from the perimeter during one stretch especially. But the Bulls doing a nice job on the boards, and that's an area that Doug Collins felt they had to do well, and especially the defensive boards to generate the running game. But the Celtics have done a pretty good job so far, Bob, I think, of preventing the Bulls from getting into an all-out running situation, and that has enabled them to be able to have a 1-point lead.
Reggie Lewis, Jim Paxson in the backcourt for the Celtics. Grandison, McHale, and Akers up front. 10 on the shot clock. Stripped away. Jordan, this could be pretty.
And it was really great considering he was held after he made the steal. Lewis just grabbed onto his jersey. He finally broke free and gets to take home.
Bulls regain the lead by 1.
But again, that's 3 times already that good defense has led to an easy basket down the other end for Chicago.
Lewis gets the roll. He has 10, a chance for 11 now.
You see Michael just finished this off, uses the good speed to pull away from Paxson, and the easy take home as he floats to the basket. Floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee.
Lewis misses the free throw. He has 10 points in the game, however, his high score. John Paxson. Corzine over Akers. Missed everything. On the far side, you see Jimmy Rogers with the play call for the Celtics. 10 on their shot clock. Jordan with a rebound. If they can keep McHale shooting that far away from the basket, they'll be doing a good job defensively on him. Jordan pulls up for the uncontested jumper. Bulls by 1. Well, I still think if you're going to lose to the Bulls and Michael Jordan, they can beat you with those type of shots, Bob. Jordan has 9. Akers trying some moves on Sellers. Good moves, bad shot. 3 on 2. For 3. Rebound Akers. Paxson's 15 of 40 from three-point range. He's the best three-point shooter on the Bulls team. Boston's got an interesting stat in three-pointers. Danny Ainge has 19 of the Boston 20 three-pointers. And the foul on the double team down there, was that Pippen that got him? Yes. Well, Jimmy Rogers has really asked his team to back off of taking as many three-pointers as they had before, and that's really surprising because I really think it's a great weapon offensively, especially when you have people capable of shooting it. Robert Parish checks into the game for McHale now. So Ainge is 19 of 38. That's 50%. And Dennis Johnson's 1 of 9. And that's all Boston has from three-point territory this season. Paxson on the drive. Missed the layup. Back comes Bubba. A southern turn for John Paxson. Bulls up by 3. Grandison's fouled by Pippen. His second. So coming up Friday night, Detroit will be in Atlanta. Then next day, we'll be going into New York for the New Jersey Nets and the New York Knicks matchup. I'll be working with Steve Jones in that game, and Skip and Rick will have the Friday night game for you. When we talk about three-pointers, the Knicks are making good use of the three-point shot, and they don't have that many great three-point shooters. I see statistically Strickland is leading the NBA in three-point shots. Or something like 5 out of 7. Lewis gets the bucket. And Jordan will get the personal. Now there's a disagreement. It may be Pippen. Let's see if they change it. They are going to change it. Michael, as we watch the play come again, Pippen moving, did not hold his position. He was afraid of getting hit. Michael was questioning it. The basket, of course, dropped in, and Michael immediately went to the official. No. And they did change it to Pippen, who picks up 3 very quick ones. And he goes to the bench. Horace Grant's going to come in for Pippen. Well, I'll tell you, Pippen was kind of exposed on that particular move when he went in there, and I think that he might have been thinking he was a little vulnerable in an area that you would not like to be vulnerable in, and he decided to move. What do you mean by that? Exactly what I said. Reggie Lewis is 6 out of 9 from the floor. And with that free throw, Reggie Lewis leads all scorers with 13. And it's tied at 31. Push on Akers. Well, it's one thing to do the pushing and the bumping before the ball is thrown in, but once the man gets the ball, you really shouldn't be doing that. 9:01 to go in the first half. It's tied at 31. Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt for the Bulls. Grant with the pass to Sellers. Corzine playing center. Paxson to Lewis. Now Lewis and Shaw in the backcourt. Parish. Akers up front. And Lewis commits the foul, trying to take the ball away from John Paxson. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Rick and I will be selecting the Miller Lite player of the game, and that man you see there, number 35 with the personal, is a good candidate at this point with 13 points for Boston. Talked to Doug Collins about his son Chris. His son is starting two-guard on his high school team.
Just like the father, man. Spot up and shoot it.
Rick says, yeah, he's got this great ball-handling point guard who gets Chris the ball. Was it Glenbrook North, I think he said. Chicago area high school. 8:21 to go in the first half. Still tied at 31. Corzine tried to get it into Grant, but Paxson played some very good defense on it. They've got a real mismatch there with Horace, Grant, and Paxson down to the baseline. The Bulls can't get him the ball. 7 on the shot clock. Sellers from Jordan. There's the screen for Parish. Dribbles right around Corzine and tipped in his own miss. Parish with 6 points. Parish stepped around Corzine to hit the ball, but had to foul to do it.
Robert Parish is first. Team's fourth.
McHale checking back in for Boston. And Akers will sit down. You look at some scores around the NBA tonight.
Big question, though, is will Miami beat Sacramento at home? Coming up.
I'd like to be televising that game. That could be good. Jordan nowhere to go with it. Off balance, had to throw it out of there. That's 7 Chicago turnovers.
Of course, that game takes place tomorrow.
I don't suppose we could schedule it. You and I get down there real quick. McHale defended by Grant with 7 on the shot clock. There's all those moves. And the backboard, the bank shot off the backboard. Celtics up by 2. And Doug Collins and the Chicago Bulls call a timeout with 6:44 to go in the first half. Brian Shaw is the #1 draft choice from Boston, who was playing at UCal Santa Barbara this time last year. He says he's having a little bit of trouble just realizing he's with the Celtics.
Honestly, I don't even think it's really sunk in yet. Right after the draft, I was trying to think about what it would feel like playing. You know, I used to have season tickets to the Golden State Warriors games when Robert Parish used to play for the Warriors years ago. And now I'm on his team, and I'm telling him where to go on the court and, you know, to set a screen for me and things like that. It feels kind of weird, but as far as it having an effect on me, it hasn't sunk in yet.
Brian Shaw, who was the first point guard in PCAA history to lead the conference in rebounding. He averaged 9 rebounds a game out there. Grant from the corner.
Well, sometimes that would cause a problem for him, too, with this Boston Celtics team. He likes to go into the offensive boards as well, and that creates a little problem with defensive balance.
Horace Grant has yet to miss tonight. He's 5 out of 5 from the floor. It's tied at 35. Into Parish for the jam, just like he did at Golden State when Brian watched him.
Well, I tell you, they talk about the Chief getting a little bit old. He didn't look too old on that play.
Celtics by 2. Grant's first miss. Shaw losing the rebound. Grant gets it into Cartwright. It's tied up by Lewis.
I'm talking about the way this team has been playing. the first period alone, only 2 points off the bench. Those came for Chicago and Paxson. There's Robert Parish just with great authority taking it right over Bill Cartwright. Need to get some production off the bench. Chicago with nothing out of Pippen. That hurt them. He picked up 3 quick fouls. Can't do it just with the 5 starters.
Cartwright at 7-1, and the Celtics, Reggie Lewis battled to get that rebound, get the jump ball. Celtics up by 2. Bulls playing inconsistently thus far tonight. They look good for a moment and then slack off. McHale's jump hook will go down. McHale has 12 points, and Lewis at 13. Those two lead the Celtics in scoring. Cartwright, the left hand, rebound Parish. That's 6 rebounds for Robert. Celtics by 4 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Shot clock down to 6 seconds for Boston. Parish had to take a shot he didn't want. He knew it was down to 3. McHale gets the weak side rebound off the Bill Cartwright miss. Jordan has been relatively quiet in this ballgame, only 9 points. Hasn't touched the ball all that much. You know, that could be scary. Jordan tipped that one away. It's 4-on-2. And Shaw had to foul him.
He hit him very hard in the nose. You see Michael holding on. Hopefully it didn't hit him in the eye, and it just was on the bridge of the nose, which of course can be very painful.
20 seconds.
And hopefully it's nothing more than just a painful bang on the nose.
And Chicago takes a 20-second injury timeout.
Well, let's watch the play again. You see the pass off coming from Sellers. And then Shaw reaches in, tries to go for the block, and then catches Michael in the face. Now, that didn't look like a real hard blow. It looked like it might have been his thumb hitting near the eye. And take it from another angle. You see, it's not a hard blow. And then the hand comes back down across the face, and that seems to be where it got him. So it didn't look like it was one of those bangs on the bridge of the nose, more or less a hit near the eye area. Looks like he's okay as Mark Feil checks him out over there.
Remember that Jordan had his nose injured in the Utah game just the other day, so it's probably still sore.
That could be it as well. Seems to be holding on to the bridge.
Michael Jordan with 15 50-plus games, 50-point-plus games in his career.
We talked about the strategies in both teams. The Celtics wanting to control the pace of the ball game, hammer it inside. They've done a good job at that. Chicago, meanwhile, wanting to run more. Well, the Chicago's had 6 breaks. They've gotten 10 points off of those breaks. That's a very good ratio, 5 out of 6, but not enough break opportunities. Boston themselves have had 5 and gotten 8 points off of that. So Chicago, a little lax in the area that Doug feels they need to capitalize on.
And trailing by 2 with 4:17 to go in the first half. Like the youngsters Boston has. You gotta like the looks of Shaw and Lewis and Lowhouse. Celtics of the future. McHale from the perimeter. I guess with all the injuries, the Celtics of the present.
Well, you gotta like the looks of the old-timer too.
Celtics up by 4. Cleared the side here for Vincent to run the play to get it to Jordan, who penetrates. Tried to get it to Cartwright out of bounds.
Michael's not having a particularly good game passing the basketball. He's made at least 3 or 4 passes that were solely his responsibility for turnovers.
8 turnovers in the game for Chicago. Now Jordan running. It's 4-on-4. Vincent from Jordan. That was a beautiful pass from Jordan. Lewis tried to get the screen from McHale, instead ran into it. Jordan picks up the personal. That's 2.
Penalty.
Both teams in the penalty. Reggie Lewis with 13 points in this ball game tonight. His career high is 20.
2 shots.
2 out of 3 from the line, 6 out of 9 from the floor. He's a forward in college, has made the transition to being a swing player for the Celtics.
Celtics are noted for having some great swing players in their history.
On the shot clock. Jordan over Lewis. Celtics lead it by 2 with 2:39 to go. First half. They clear it for McHale. And he got Grant airborne. He had to foul him or else Kevin would have scored easily. Timeout on the floor, charged to Boston. Doug Collins not exactly pleased with the defensive play of his Bulls on that one. Here are the Honda leaders. You see it's Michael Jordan and then a tightly grouped bunch after him from 28.8 down to 28.5 with Ellis Barkley, Malone, and Alex English. So the Bulls had hoped to get some more balance this year, but they've had to go offensively to Michael Jordan early on.
Well, I think they have to go to Michael Jordan a lot on this team, and he still is the man who gets it done for them, and he's really not been the force that he's capable of being, but there's a long way to go yet.
Michael Jordan in this ball game has 13. Leading scorer in the game is Lewis with 15. McHale has 14 for Boston.
You know, it's so funny when we talk about Michael and we say those type of things. I mean, most players would like to have some of Michael's bad memes.
Him for Michael is to be down in the low 20s. Good Celtics half-court defense. Trying to get it inside, but just nothing's there. Cartwright with a nice move past McHale. Shot clock had ticked down to 6 seconds. Cartwright with only 6 in this ball game.
2 minutes left in the half.
Parish with the pick. Lewis on the roll. Patience by Parish under the hoop.
Well, patience by the whole Celtic team offensively is something that Jimmy Rogers was stressing before the game. He said that we must not be impatient and take the first opportunity that comes along. We must break down the Bulls' defense.
Jordan has 15 now. Celtics by 2. Minute and a half to go, first half. Been a well-played game. Had a tight one all the way. Jordan almost had his 52nd steal of the year. Lowhouse with 6 on the shot clock. Rebound Parish. Just decides to take it right back to the hole. Parish playing with enthusiasm here tonight. 12 points for Robert. And Sellers answers. Minute to go, 2-point Boston lead. Lowhouse wanted to penetrate on Sellers and slipped. Shaw over Grant.
Basket by Brian Shaw.
Nice touch on the ball. Jordan will take that one. 12 in this quarter for Michael Jordan. Eight-second differential on the shot clock and the game clock. There's Parish, who has 14 in the game. Coming up at halftime, Craig Sager will be in our studios in Atlanta for the Prudential halftime report. Hope you'll join us for that. Cartwright kept it alive, then the foul. It's on Parish. That's 2 on the Chief. 1 second remaining in the first half. And here's another rookie free agent, Jack Haley from UCLA. Played in Europe last year. Comes in for the final tick, so there will be no cheap fouls on either Grant or Michael Jordan, as they got a 1 second rest before the half.
Well, I think right now Jimmy Rogers is probably a happier coach than Doug Collins, because his team is really executing his game plan a little bit better than the Chicago Bulls are executing the plan of Doug Collins. I know Doug would like to have his team playing a little better defense and doing a better job with their running game.
With the 1 second, Celtics won't get a shot off. At the half, it's Boston by 2 from Chicago Stadium. After these commercial messages, we'll be joining Craig Sager in our studios in Atlanta. Rick and I'll be back here with you in Chicago in just a few minutes.
We mentioned the winter meetings a moment ago. It's a common phrase in baseball that a struggling player isn't even hitting his weight. It may not catch on, but tonight we'd like to introduce basketball's version, a player not scoring his height. The subject of tonight's NBA Beat.
When Golden State traded for Ralph Sampson, the Warriors had high expectations of the 7'4" center. But this year, Sampson's average has dropped a dozen points to where he's not even shooting his height. Elsewhere, Denver's fat lever in rebounding stands head and shoulders above his height, while Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a couple of feet below. It seems that when Danny Ainge is shooting from 25 feet, he's better than he is at 10. A 50% shooter from three-point range, who's 45% elsewhere. Then there's Dennis Rodman, who shoots 62% with someone guarding him, but just 56% when he's alone at the free throw line. Speaking of poor shooting, how about Miami? You know things are bad when Rory Sparrow is your best shooter. He's the only player on the Heat who can make half his shots. But on layups, that's not very good.
And the worst team north of Miami is Sacramento. King-size problems there as well. We'll talk with Roy Johnson in a moment. The coach of the Sacramento Kings, Jerry Reynolds, has not lost his sense of humor, even though what has happened to Sacramento is not a laughing matter.
Welcome to the Jerry Reynolds Show. Unfortunately, I'm Jerry Reynolds.
Reynolds' Kings have just 2 wins in 13 games, and they could be on the eve of NBA history as the first team to lose to winless Miami.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I think they're seeing it that way, and if we play like we did against Utah, they're going to get them a win. If we play like we did against Denver and Clippers, they won't.
The Kings can blame themselves for being no better than an expansion team after trading their 2 best players from a year ago, Otis Thorpe and Reggie Theus.
3 years from now, if Ricky Berry is a top-flight player and Reg is not playing, then that would look like a pretty good trade.
But that's a big if. Theus averaged over 21 points per game for the Kings. Whitman and Berry combined for less than 8. And while the Kings can anticipate a lottery pick, Theus is looking ahead to the playoffs.
I tell you, it's amazing. I never realized, this is my 11th year, I never realized how easy basketball really is.
And that's easy for Reggie to say because he's out of Sacramento. With us now is Roy Johnson, who, like Miami, is probably looking forward to tomorrow night's game.
Well, I don't know where you'll find it in your local TV listings, maybe under comedies, probably under horror shows. Certainly, this is no sporting proposition by any stretch of the imagination. This is a double-dip cone for masochists only. If this was hunting season, certainly these ducks were shot down a long time ago. No matter how it turns out, at least one of these teams will go down in NBA infamy. Quite frankly, I think they both deserve a ticket.
Miami's best chance to win, but speaking of the Kings' problems, back to those for a moment. The front office, they've changed coaches 5 times since 1984. Problems there, but what about on the court?
Well, what coaching changes do is that creates complete and total chaos. The rumor floating around the country is that the Kings don't run any plays. One of their players told me today that they actually run 5 plays. They just don't run them very well. That's coaching, but it's also talent. Jerry Reynolds says his team is only a couple of players away. Well, unless one of those players is Magic Johnson, I believe he just might be mistaken. The Kings lack one legitimate big-time gamer, the guy who'll break down the defense and take the big shot when the 24-second clock is about to blow. The Kings had hoped guard Derek Smith would be that player, but injuries have kept him from being the player anywhere near his potential. In fact, you could probably trace the Kings' problems back to the trade that brought Smith to the team from the Clippers. They sent Mike Woodson plus 2 draft picks, a #1 and a #2, to Los Angeles for Smith. The #1 turned out to be Hersey Hawkins, who's now in Philadelphia. So in the last 2 years, the Kings have traded 5 players who now average more than 80 points with more than 21 rebounds and 17 assists between them. What have they gotten in return? Well, 5 players who've averaged just 43 points, fewer than 17 rebounds, or fewer than 17 boards and 9 assists. Not exactly prudent maneuvering. And also, they have 2 draft picks coming up in that trade, but one of them is not a second rounder in 1996. That player is now in 9th grade.
Well, the fans are loyal, great fans. They probably will sell out every game until 1996. But do those fans have any hope for the near future?
Well, I hope they have patience. That's the one thing that's going to get them through this. What I'm afraid of, however, is that the league might be watching this franchise with a careful eye. If you remember a few years ago, the league took out a moratorium on trades for the Cleveland Cavaliers after they made a series of bad moves. I'm certain they're watching the Kings just to make sure that they don't become an embarrassment for the league. So that's something the Kings should be looking out for.
I like Jerry Reynolds, but I don't know why they gave him a 3-year contract. He had no place else to go. Nobody else was going to hire him, right?
Well, at least he says he's 44 years old. He can wait forever.
Who's going to win, Miami or Sacramento tomorrow night?
I don't know. I don't want to put my money on it, but I think let's just say Miami's going to go for the record Saturday in Chicago.
Okay. And we'll go back right now to an exciting game at the Chicago Stadium where the Boston Celtics are leading the Bulls by 2 points. Bob Neal and Rick Barry standing by. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Thank you, Craig. The reason I'm laughing, the fans are booing here. They had a young lady in this plexiglass cage where they blow up the dollar bills, and as many as she can grab, she gets to keep. They couldn't get it to work. They get her out. The crowd booed, and then as soon as she left, the fans started to blew dollar bills all over the floor, and I thought we were going to be in a riot at Chicago Stadium. Nevertheless, they have great crowd control here with the Andy Frayne ushers. We've got a good ball game, too. Celtics up by 2.
Well, yes, Bob, I think if anything, tonight is showing you people out there that the Boston Celtics are not really chopped liver without Larry Bird playing for them. They also have Danny Ainge out and Dennis Johnson out, and here they are in a real battle with the Chicago Bulls, a decent basketball team, certainly. You look at the statistics, you can see the Bulls shooting 59%, 54 for Boston. Boston doing it with the inside game, Chicago trying to get the running game going, but Chicago doing an excellent job on the rebounding, and surprisingly, they just have not been able to get their transition game going like the way Doug Collins would like it to be going. Credit a lot of that to the Boston Celtics for getting back on defense well. This is what Chicago would like to see more of. You see the play going inside now to Gradison. He makes the move to the basket. Michael Jordan strips it. Lewis tries to stop Jordan right there as he grabs his jersey, but Michael puts the afterburners on, takes it away from Paxson, and brings it home for the easy 2. Conversely, the Boston Celtics game plan was to try and go inside. Well, they have really had quite a field day of doing that. They go inside to Robert Parish. He gives the move against Corzine, gets him bouncing around a little bit, makes the spin move. Paxson does not stay to help out, allows Parish to go to the basket, and even though he missed the layup, he's able to tip it back in. He and McHale have had a real field day inside. Scoring leaders in the first half, you can see McHale, Lewis, and Parish. The big surprise there, Bob, would have to be Lewis.
And Jordan leading his team in everything as usual. He has 5 rebounds, which leads the Bulls. 3 assists. Vincent actually has 6 there, but Jordan also, unfortunately, from the Bulls' point of view, is leading in turnovers with 5. You're looking at Dennis Johnson signing autographs here as Jimmy Rogers walks into the picture there for Boston. Dennis Johnson not in uniform tonight. This is the 4th consecutive game he's missed with a sore right Achilles tendon, and as Rick told you, the doctors think that it's healing along pretty well. They did not want to take the chance with him tonight. He only came into town to be here because Danny Ainge is out of this ball game with the flu. Brian Shaw is playing even though he's not feeling well. He has a touch of the flu himself. So with Bird out recovering from surgery, Boston playing with a lot of bench, a lot of young players, and yet they lead by 2, 53-51 here at halftime. I got a couple of those loose dollar bills, Rick. Did you get any of them that were blowing around?
No, I really didn't get out there, Bob. I was trying to concentrate on my work.
Job. I go for the money.
Well, here you see now, we talked about the first quarter being a situation where only the scorers were scoring 2 points off the bench for Chicago. Well, here at the half, we only have 4 points scored by either bench. All 4 of them coming from the Bulls, 2 for Corzine, and 2 of them for John Paxson. Not a player has scored yet for the Boston Celtics off their bench. Of course, they have 3 bench players who are starting.
See the Bulls happy to be back here in Chicago after playing 11 of 15 in their first games on the road. The Bulls are 7-8 and in 5th place in the Central Division coming into this ball game. The Boston Celtics are 8-8 in 3rd place in the Atlantic Division behind Philadelphia and New York.
Of course, Doug Collins was concerned about that fact coming back home. I mean, the bad news is that they have 4 games in 5 nights with this trip up to Detroit from tomorrow looking him in the face, and he does not want his team to think that they can just show up here at home and win a game without putting the effort forth.
Celtics up by 2. Second half underway from Chicago. Lowhouse with the penetration. Lost control. Here comes Vincent. 3-on-3. Beautiful bounce pass to Grant. That's 7 assists in this game for Vincent. He had 12 in the victory at Dallas.
Well, he's very important for this team if they're going to achieve any type of success. He must be the man to run the team, create those opportunities just like that, as well as scoring some points. He's done that the last 2 ball games for them.
Vincent, of course, a draft choice of the Celtics. Went from the Celtics to Seattle, and Chicago traded Sedale Treat for Vincent last February. Reggie Lewis isn't cooling any. Reggie Lewis
has his career high coming up here.
His career high is 20. He's only 3 points away. Sellers hit the rim and then hit the deck.
Horace Grant did a good job of using jumping ability to keep that ball alive.
Celtics up by 2. Parish got into the passing lane. Lost out of bounds off Chicago. It'll be Celtics ball, leading it by 2. And Chicago now with 10 turnovers in this game. Brian, Shaw, and Lewis in the backcourt. Lowhouse, Parish, and McHale up front for the Celtics.
And 6 of those turnovers are Michael Jordan's.
Lewis has 19, 1 point away from his career high. Plus Lewis on the other end is defending Jordan. There are about 4 green jerseys defending Jordan there as he kicked it out to Vincent for the jump shot. Vincent has 8. And Jordan is covering Lewis. With 8 on the shot clock, Brian Shaw takes the jump.
An interesting point about that, Bob. A lot of times if you have to guard a player defensively, you work very hard. It really gets you into the flow of the game, and you tend to have a better game offensively.
Good defense by McHale. Horace Grant said it was too good. He claims he was pushed. Celtics by 4. Stripped away by Jordan. It's Jordan and Sellers against Lowhouse. Oh, that was a designed play. Michael said, Brad, follow this. I'm coming off the glass with it.
That's what you do in warm-ups.
Celtics by 2. Lewis stumbled there. McHale with the tip in. McHale has 18. Excellent ball game from Chicago. Celtics up by 4. Jordan off the screen. By Cartwright. Jordan has 19. I think Jordan particularly misses Oakley in that trade. He liked Oakley on this ball.
Well, Oakley kicked it out real well, did a lot of rebounding, but you better get used to Cartwright because that's what he has to play with.
That's what Jerry Krause told him last week. Shaw misses. Jordan rebound.
Yeah, he'd like to have some players. Said Jerry, how about getting us some better players? If he knocks another one. And Jerry said, hey, listen, I had to give up 3 guys just to pay your salary.
And we have a timeout, Boston. The game's tied at 61 as Jordan has hit 2 consecutive field goals and has 21 for the game. Friday night, something's got to give. The Hawks are undefeated at home, but the Detroit Pistons have the best road record in the NBA. Bill Laimbeer and the Pistons at the Omni in Atlanta, 8:05 Eastern Time this Friday night. And how big a game is that? Well, I'm off that night. I'm going to go anyway.
And I'm looking forward to doing that one. Now, here's the play you're going to see that Doug Collins would like to see a lot more of. The missed shot by Lowhouse. And you see Sam Vincent taking it down on the break. The excellent bounce pass to Horace, who takes it home for the easy 2. And Chicago certainly has not had as many of those as they might like. And if they do not continue to get those type of plays, they will lose this basketball game. But right now, the pace, I think, as you see Sam Vincent and his stats for tonight, the pace of this game early in this third period, I think, is favoring Chicago somewhat. The Celtics need to try and slow it down a little bit more.
Reggie Lewis becoming an excellent ball handler. Remember, he was a forward at Northeastern. Tail into Brian Shaw. Sellers tees it. The Bulls run again. Jordan's hit 3 in a row. 23 for number 23. And the Bulls have taken the lead. It's been a while since they led 7-2 early. And the Celtics battled back and kept a 2 to 4 point lead most of the second quarter. Nice play by Grant, but then he tried to tap it to Vincent, and it lost out of bounds, and it belonged to the Celtics with 5 on the shot clock.
On the shot clock, 5 seconds.
Lewis saw the opening, made the penetration. What a play by Lewis. And the foul. Gives me an opportunity to remind you that this program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the NBA is prohibited, as Jim Paxson enters the game for Boston. Foul was on Horace Grant.
Hey, Dennis Johnson sure picked a good time to be bragging about Reggie Lewis to me before this ball game.
Celtics up by 1. 7:25 to go, third quarter. Sellers saw that Grant was open, but Grant traveled. And that's a little bit typical of what Doug Collins said was going through the young Horace Grant. He says he's an excellent player, he loves him, thinks he's going to be a future star, but that he comes in and out of the games mentally.
There's a little indecision on his part that time.
Chicago with 11 turnovers, Boston 7. Shaw to McHale. McHale fouled. Is it Grant that got him again? Yes.
Now on Horace Grant is third.
That's 3 on Horace Grant.
McHale, 2 seconds.
Kevin McHale in his 9th year in Minnesota. He's one of those stories. They used to say, who's Kevin McHale? Now they say, get me a Kevin McHale type.
That's exactly right. Going from being the premier 6th man in the game to a first-team all-league starter.
Next, they'll be saying, get me a young Kevin McHale. Celtics by 3. You see Brian Shaw down there rebounding among the Giants. McHale got that rebound. Shaw had 10 rebounds in 40 minutes against Cleveland the other night in the Boston loss there. Parish finds the open man, Jim Paxson. He didn't seem to want that shot. He got it over to Lewis and gave it back to him. He took it and missed it.
I'm not used to seeing Paxson miss those type of shots.
Grant backs in on McHale. Lost control. The 12th turnover of this game for Chicago.
Well, if you're a lip reader, you know what Doug thought about that one.
Celtics by 3. 5:45 to go in the third quarter. Lewis used McHale's screen, then tried to get it to him. Grant was there. Out to Jordan against Shaw. The whirling dervish. The crowd grows quiet when Jordan has one of those breaks because they just don't know what he's going to do. They hold their breath until they see it.
It's the same problem the defensive man has.
Saw the lane was open, got the basket, drew the foul.
I guarantee you, Bob, having played this game, it is a very, very lonely and helpless feeling to be standing down court and see somebody like Michael Jordan or Dominique Wilkins, or when I played at Julius Erving, coming at you in an open court situation.
Sacramento Kings, you saw the halftime feature with Jerry Reynolds and the fact that the Kings are going to play Miami, and many people think maybe the first victim of the winless Miami Heat. They're losing in Atlanta tonight, Sacramento. Cartwright misses, Grant rebounds. Shaw, nice pass to Paxson. Knifes it in, draws the foul, gets the basket. Celtics penetrating and now build a 6-point lead and will soon make it 7 if they hit the free throw. And Doug Collins has seen enough for the moment and calls timeout with 5:05 to go in the third. Back live at Chicago Stadium with 5:05 to go in the third. Friday night following our NBA game, join Fred Hickman for Inside the NBA. He'll have scores and highlights plus news from around the league.
Bob, you know, during the course of the seasons that we've been working together, we talk about the statistic inside scoring and how that is really a telltale statistic as to how a game is going. And normally the team that establishes dominance in that area wins the ball game. In this ball game so far, Boston holds a 38-28 advantage there. They also hold an advantage on the scoreboard of 6 points. McHale and Parish, as is no surprise to me or to anyone else who knows the game of basketball, have been the prime culprits. 20 for McHale, 14 for Parish.
Paxson converts the three-point play, and his penetration of recent has helped the Celtics build a 7-point lead, their biggest lead of the ball game. And off the bench, Paxson with 6 points, all in this quarter. Vincent with the drive. That's something the Bulls have to have out of that one. Vincent with 10 in the game now. Shaw couldn't get it on the baseline. Corzine gets it to Vincent.
Shaw has to learn something. I'll make a point of it when we have a chance.
Corzine, he's a good outside shooter.
Twice Shaw's gotten the ball on the baseline, Bob. He's jumped back in to try to make the shot, avoiding contact. What you must do is jump into the defensive man. Make body contact when you try that shot. Don't try to avoid it.
Stolen by Vincent. Has to beat Shaw. What a move. Gets his own rebound and puts it back in. Shaw defended him once, but not twice. And the Bulls down by 1 after the timeout, and now Boston's going to huddle up with 3:55 to go in the third, and they're on the feet in Chicago.
About what the Chicago Bulls have done is that Doug Collins is hoping that they were going to be able to do throughout the ball game is to come up with some real outstanding defensive efforts, which would then enable them to get their running game into high gear. Well, Sam Vincent made the good play to go to the basket, which started things off, but then it was a good defense. We'll watch a little bit of the action that took place to get him back in the ball game. First, we'll see Sam Vincent. Notice the spread 4. McHale tries to get over. He's late. Great drive by Sam Vincent to help cut into that 7-point lead. And then the last play off of the good steal, Vincent back down, gets the rebound as Shaw had made a good defensive effort, and he's able to get the shot as Vincent, that is, over Robert Parish.
Vincent played well in the win over Dallas, as you see his statistics from that Saturday game. And he's been coming around slowly, but not so surely. Been inconsistent, but in this ball game, he's having, I'd say, a pretty decent ball game.
Well, Bob, it's defense that does it for you in the NBA. You have got to play good defense to create easy opportunities for yourself on the offensive end. Even the high-scoring teams that you think are only offensive-minded, that's not true. A team like Denver, a team like New York, hey, they work hard on their defense. They try to get those turnovers, those forced shots, get those rebounds, kick it out, and run. You're not going to score a lot of points, and you're not going to be able to win a lot of basketball games if you don't give yourself some easy baskets, and the easy baskets come from your defensive effort.
Celtics up by 1 with 3:55 to go in the third quarter. While we're away for looking at those replays, this place was just going bonkers. It is a noisy, enthusiastic arena. They've been selling it out regularly here in the last couple of 3 years since Jordan came off that injury year and since Doug Collins took over the team. An exciting young Bulls basketball team. Struggling this year, but they won 50 in 87-88. 7 on the shot clock. 5, 2. Paxson at the buzzer, it'll count. And Paxson has come off the bench for 8 points in the third quarter for Boston. Jordan fouled before he made the pass. Remember, the Celtics are without Ainge, who has the flu. The man you're looking at there, Brian Shaw, is a little ill. He was under the weather all day today at the hotel. And Dennis Johnson in street clothes on the bench with a sore Achilles tendon. So they needed Paxson to come in and give him a lift here in the third quarter.
Man, nobody's scoring off the bench, as we pointed out.
Jordan finds the open Horace Grant, who hits the open Sam Vincent, who hits the jumper. Bulls to within 1. McHale. Rebound Corzine. Bulls could take the lead on this possession. Look at Jordan protect the ball in the lane. Then he missed the 13-footer. Lewis missed it wildly that time. He'll take it right back to the hoop. And he's fouled hard by Grant. And that is 4 on Horace Grant.
Horace Grant is fourth. Penalty.
Lowhouse in for Boston. Pippen in for Chicago. Pippen replacing Sellers. They may get Sellers in and have Grant come out, though, with the 4 fouls. Let's see what Doug Collins decides to do here.
Well, you know, it could very well be, Bob, that the Bulls put this little spurt on because they had players out there on the court who were familiar with one another. Cartwright was on the bench. They had Corzine, who was playing in center position last year. And when you have familiarity, you sometimes work certainly a little bit better than you would when you have a new addition to the team.
Look at that. Reggie Lewis with a career-high 23. Previous was 20. Ends up a whale of a ball game tonight. He's been defensed most of the game by Michael Jordan. Jordan with 25. Pippen, Corzine, Sellers, Vincent, and Jordan in there for Chicago. It's Akers, Paxson, Lowhouse, McHale, and Lewis for Boston. Two minutes to go in the third quarter. Celtics by 3.
I wonder what odds you could have gotten if you would have bet that Reggie Lewis would be playing Michael Jordan both ends of the court, playing him even offensively.
Only Dennis Johnson might have given you some odds tonight. Celtics back up by 5 now. Back into Jordan. Double tweak. Where did he get that one?
Doug Collins seeing that Michael Jordan is asked to be taken out of the game. He needs a little bit of rest. Paxson's getting up in the background to come in for him.
Lowhouse for 18. Brad Lowhouse, who started the game, has played sparingly, though, in the second quarter and in this one, with only 6 points. And Sam Vincent heating up a bit for Chicago. Sam with 16.
And one of the reasons Michael's asked to be taken out, he's had to work very hard against Lewis, and certainly it takes its toll when he has to work that hard defensively as well as offensively.
Sam is 8 out of 10 from the floor tonight, however. Shooting the eyes out. Here's Lewis off the 2-man game. Celtics back by 5. 45 seconds remaining in the third. Reggie Lewis with 26 points. He's 10 of 16 from the floor tonight. Jordan down there for the rebound. Stayed with it, got the basket, and the free throw. If Jordan didn't get out of the game, he's worn out. Doug Collins left him in there.
First you see Michael going and setting the back screen. Now he gets in high position to screen off. Gets the rebound. McHale with good defense. Michael quickly after the errant shot gets fouled as he puts it in the basket. And even though he's tired, he's still working extremely hard.
And hitting the free throw. 30 points for Jordan. It's interesting. He waved to the bench, said, I'm tired. A minute ago, they got Paxson up, and Paxson comes in for Vincent. Vincent gets the rest because Michael's tired. Celtics by 2. That's the time remaining in the quarter. The bottom right of your screen. About a 2-second differential in the shot clock and the game clock.
See, that's a foul right there on Michael Jordan that he got away with. I mean, that was an out-and-out foul, and that's because he's a little tired. They were very fortunate that time, Bob.
10 Celtics turnovers. See the time remaining. Paxson to Corzine from long range. Pippen almost got it, but almost doesn't count. And the Celtics lead at the half as they led. Lead after 3 as they led at the half by 2, 82-80.
We've been talking about how hard Michael Jordan has been working this game on both ends of the court. Let's watch him work hard offensively again as he hustles down the court, gets the position there inside the quick pass. Now he makes the great move, the little double clutch over the head, drop it in the basket, and that even brought an ooh and ah from Bob Neal.
Reminds me of my high school days. Right.
You're right.
Yeah, right. I think it was the dream. You know that kid in the commercial who shatters the backboard? Right. That kind of reminder. He didn't even look at the hoop at that time. Matter of fact, it was a no-look over the head.
Double clutcher.
Double clutcher. A no-look over the head double clutcher. That's what we'll call that. 30 points for Michael in this ball game. You see the man defensing Michael, and whom Michael is defensing, Reggie Lewis, has 26, a career high.
Robert Parish still has not scored in the second half of this basketball game.
It isn't going to at the moment. He's still on the bench. Sellers. Long range. Count it. It's tied, and the Bulls can regain the lead if Sellers can hit the free throw.
And the Bulls have done well during this season in the fourth period. That's a time when they have outscored their opponents 30.2-27. We'll watch the pass out to Sellers. Goes up for the shot. McHale coming out just cannot stop his momentum. Crashes right into Sellers. The basket goes in, and Sellers completes the three-point play and gives Chicago the lead.
And McHale has 2 personal fouls. Akers the only person for Boston with 3. Horace Grant has 4 for Chicago. He's on the bench right now. Corzine, Pippen, and Sellers are up front with Jordan and Paxson. Jim Paxson with the ball for Boston. Lowhouse open. Got the put, couldn't hit it.
Got to get those long rebounds defensively.
Inside to Akers, finds Lowhouse for the penetration. Beautiful move by Brad Lowhouse.
That even brought a new one off from the fans here. They certainly didn't expect that.
Nice play. Celtics by 1. Talk about the Celtics of the future. Lewis, Lowhouse, Shaw, all playing well here tonight.
Scottie Pippen has been almost non-existent tonight. Got in foul trouble early.
Sellers. Rebound McHale. 7 rebounds in the game for McHale. Celtics lead it by 1.
Lowhouse missed that shot, Bob, because he hesitated. He thought about it, then said no, and then decided yes.
Jordan fouled as he drives. He kicked it out to Pippen, but drew the foul first.
Let's watch that great move we talked about on the part of Brad Lowhouse as he sees the opening, takes it in strong to the basket, does a little bit of a motion with the arm and changes body direction. Nice play on the part of Brad Lowhouse.
Now Michael Jordan is going to get a rest, and Sam Vincent checks in.
It wasn't exactly a Michael Jordan clone on that one, but it was pretty good.
The personal foul, by the way, prior to this whistle was on Brian Shaw, who has 3 now. The Celtics pick up another. This is on Akers. He has 4. So Shaw has 3, Akers has 4. They're the only Celtics who have any kind of foul problems. Grant has 4, and Jordan 3 for Chicago. Vincent with the penetration. Hand off to Pippen. Bulls by 1. We've got a beauty here in Chicago. Bulls beat these Celtics in early November at the Boston Garden, 110-104. The double team on Akers. Paxson with an unusual way to tie up the basketball. Nevertheless, gets the jump ball with Akers.
Akers, people have got to make themselves available, but Akers has got to get rid of the basketball before the double gets there, especially when you're down in the area of the court that he was on. It's like having extra defenders there.
The Atlanta Hawks remain undefeated at the Omni. That undefeated mark will go on the line against Detroit Friday night. The game to be televised on TBS at 8:05 Eastern Time. Lowhouse. Tip in McHale. How many times have we seen that?
As many times probably as the defenders forgot to screen them off.
Which has happened often. Vincent. 18 points for Sam Vincent. Bulls up by 1. Into Akers. Got Corzine airborne. Akers stayed with it. McHale tipped and missed. Corzine to Paxson. Pippen wanted, Sellers wanted the lob, and Vincent fought better of it. 10 on the shot clock. Vincent.
Dan Vincent is having another outstanding game for the Chicago Bulls.
20 points for Vincent. Listen to the crowd. Well, the Bulls on a run have taken a 3-point lead. They've been down in the second half by 5 points to Boston, but they've got the transition game going, and Michael Jordan's been heating up in this quarter.
Well, they also came up with a lot better effort defensively, Bob, and that's helped them a great deal. And to even make it a better situation for them right now is that they are usually a lot more proficient in the fourth period, as you can see, and Michael Jordan normally has his best period at least during this regular season anyway, and he's getting rest on the bench right now, and so the team out in the court without Michael Jordan has been able to increase their lead up to 3 points with still a lot of time to go.
So Jimmy Rogers see what he can do to stem the tide. Jordan had 5 in the first quarter, 12 in the second quarter, 13 in the third, and is resting at the moment. 7 on the shot clock. They get it into Lewis, who had the mismatch with the shorter Paxson. The tip-in will count.
And that was a set play. They took the 2 big men out high on the right side to get the other big players out of the game, and they definitely went for the mismatch with Lewis inside on Paxson, and he came through after a good effort on the offensive board. He's having a whale of a ball game.
Excuse me, Rick. That's the 4th personal on Pippen. Pippen and Grant with 4 fouls for Chicago, which could become significant with 8:24 remaining in the game. Lewis misses the free throw. He's only a 67% free throw shooter. Eight on the clock as Vincent calls a late play. Screen Paxson. That was Vincent's doing. Nice job. And another assist. Paxson has 4. Lewis, open momentarily, drove it right into the 7-footer Sellers, who blocked it. 6 on the shot clock. Back to Lewis. Reverses past Corzine. Basket interference. Offensively, it'll be a turnover. It'll go to Chicago.
Interesting thing, if you had a chance to see that again, is whether or not Corzine had his hand up in the net when Lewis had shot his first attempt. That would have been goaltending instead of offensive interference, which was the latter call.
Bulls by 3. 7:31 to go in this ballgame. Shaw, nice job of getting around that Corzine pick. Corzine went hard to the hoop, but missed the runner. Celtics trailing by 3. Parish back in the game, spins past Corzine for the jam.
He Robert Parish to get back in this game offensively after 14 first-half points. Those are his first of the second.
We have a fresh Robert Parish with 7 minutes to go in the game, and the Bulls up by 1. And Paxson commits the foul on the attempted steal, and Michael Jordan is about to check back into this ballgame, as is Bill Cartwright. We're down to it now. Bulls up by 1. 6:53 to go. Sellers, Cartwright, Paxson, Jordan, and Vincent in the ball game right now. 3 guards in there for Chicago. Parrish with 10 on the shot clock. Down to 5. Harris knows it. Had to take a shot he didn't want. Vincent with the rebound. Vincent with 11 assists in this game tonight so far. Drew the foul. Smart move on the rookie. Vincent got Shaw airborne and drew the foul, and that's 4 on Brian Shaw. Interesting, Rick. It's tough to get a feeling of momentum in this game as opposed to somebody having a lead and somebody making a run. It's been really back and forth in terms of who's had it. Right now, pretty well dead even. The Bulls are up by 2.
It's certainly going to be a matter of which team is going to put forth the best effort in this last 6 minutes of the ball game. And that's been the case the entire game. There's no reason for it to be changing right now. Of course, you have to favor the Bulls a little bit, being at home and having Michael Jordan.
He missed the steal attempt. Lewis missed the short jumper, and here comes Jordan. Finds Paxson on the baseline. To Vincent in the corner. Bulls by 4.
The brothers against one another.
It's like the Civil War here. Vincent with 23, that ties his career high. Illegal defense, Boston.
Kevin McHale dropped too far into the lane.
It's merely a warning. That was the first call. Horace, Grant in, Paxson out. Chicago now with their starters in there. Cartwright, Sellers, and Grant with Vincent and Jordan.
And certainly a height advantage on the part of the Chicago Bulls right now in the front line.
Celtics have Paxson and Shaw and Lewis. Still with McHale and Parish. Bad pass from Jordan. Shaw fouled by Vincent. Excuse me, Paxson fouled by Vincent.
Foul on St. Vincent. His first, team second. Tim Paxson, 2 shots.
Paxson, an excellent free throw shooter, 82%. Paxson getting more playing time than usual tonight because Ainge is out with the flu. Dennis Johnson has the sore Achilles.
I thought he missed the first one, Bob, because you talked about him, but I was really getting the one that thought maybe you lost your kiss of death.
Bulls by 1. 4:56 remaining in the game. Cartwright spinning into the lane, doesn't get it. We got a foul, however. It's on McHale. That's his 3rd. Penalty situation. The Celtics are in the penalty, and the Bulls have committed only 2 team fouls. That becomes significant with 4:44 to go in this a 1-point game.
Well, it allows them to be aggressive defensively without having to worry to send Boston to the free throw line. They have at least 1 to use before the 2-minute mark where that will not occur. And, of course, then they have 1 more remaining in the final 2 minutes. Because you go into the penalty at 5.
Cartwright gets them both. 3-point Bulls lead. Jimmy Rogers leaving Paxson and Lewis in there with Shaw. Looks like he's going to go with this group. Eight on the shot clock. Shaw with a nice pass inside to Lewis. Brian Shaw. Beautiful look. Jordan battling off the baseline screen. Loses Lewis. Now they've got the mismatch. Can he get it to Grant? Takes the jumper. 32 points for Jordan. His first fourth quarter points. Bulls up by 3. 7 on the shot clock for McHale over the double team. Blocked from behind by Sellers. Chicago ball. Sellers made it happen. .335 to go in the game. Bulls by 3. Jordan nowhere to go with it. Tried to tip it to Grant.
Not one of Michael's better games turnover-wise.
13 Bulls turnovers. 7 by Jordan. Shaw was open, but got it to Lewis. Lewis with his career high, and Shaw has been finding him very available. 32 points for Lewis, and remember, the man defensing him is Michael Jordan.
Well, this is what they wanted to take advantage of with showing some patience, because Michael, of course, will roam a lot defensively, and he's been getting burned by Lewis.
Lewis coming into his own. This is his best game ever tonight. Vincent with 5 on the shot clock. Misses. Cartwright rebound. They'll reset it. Bulls up by 1. 2:40 to go in this game. The lob to Cartwright. He's fouled by Shaw. He traveled. Check it. Shaw got him, but first Cartwright shuffled his feet. The 14th turnover by Chicago. Timeout called by Doug Collins. The Celtics could take the lead on their next possession. Tonight's Polaroid Picture Perfect Play is brought to you by the new Polaroid Impulse camera. If you're ready for really incredible pictures, go with your Impulse.
Well, if you have your Impulse camera ready and you're going to act on Impulse, you can get a great shot here. Brian Shaw first making that good pass. Then you can snap it again and get Lewis dunking it. And then if you're really quick with the button, you can get the great reaction to the Boston Celtic bench.
Ramon Rivas clearing the Pines there.
And he can clear them.
Temple. Celtics can take the lead. 10 on the shot clock. 2:10 in the game. 5 on the shot clock. Somebody's got to get one off. Paxson hit the rim. Rebound Lewis. Got a loose ball foul on Lewis. His second personal. Bulls up by 1. 2:04 to the ball game.
The shot by Paxson bounces around. That causes the timing off. I tell you what, Lewis did not foul anyone. That was a bad call. I'm glad we got the replay on it. That was an out-and-out bad call. It was a great rebound on the part of Reggie Lewis. It was a push-off on the Bulls against Bulls that time. That was a major break for Chicago.
And then another break as they get Gordon.
Let's watch this again.
The free throw.
You got another angle, Bobby. Keep the left part of your screen. There's Lewis right there. There's the push-off. Cartwright pushed. Then Lewis goes up and gets the rebound.
Jordan gets them both. Has 34 points. He's still below his average.
2 minutes left in this ballgame.
Bulls by 3. Minute 55 to go. There's the time at the bottom right of your screen. McHale to Lewis. Nice pass. Lewis is fouled. Remember, he's only a 67% free throw shooter.
Now on Michael Jordan.
Jordan's 4th foul. Insignificant because there's only a minute 45 to go.
But you can't really say enough about the game that Reggie Lewis is playing here tonight. Working extremely hard defensively against Michael Jordan. Of course, he's getting help from his teammates. And heaven only knows that you need a lot of help guarding Michael Jordan, but he has put on quite a show offensively.
7 for 9 from the line. And Lewis with 33 tonight. His career high previously had been 20. Bulls by 2. Vincent. It was short. Celtics 10 tie. Timeout Boston. With 1:23 to go, Boston calls a timeout. Jim Rogers calls them over to see what they can do offensively against this Chicago team. Chicago beat Boston early November at Boston Garden and leads by 2 now.
Well, they've been doing it inside. That's where their success has come, Bob, and I can't really see them looking to do something else to try and set up an outside shot. Again, Jimmy will probably stress patience. He'll come up with a play that he feels could be effective after conferring with his coaching staff. Of course, he's got Chris Ford and Randy Van Niemann to talk to. And then it's a matter of coming up with what you want to do defensively down the other end and how you want to try and contain Michael Jordan, because you can rest assured that Michael Jordan will get the ball in his hands sometime on the next possession for the Chicago Bulls. But I would still look for them to be going inside with, of course, the type of option that you have where Lewis is able to break free. If Michael Jordan goes and doubles on one of the big men and tries to sneak around, Reggie is doing the right thing, and he's moving himself to an open area, and he's got good passing teammates, and they've been finding him fairly regularly tonight.
Coming up Friday night, Detroit will be at the Omni in Atlanta, where the Hawks remain undefeated. They defeated Sacramento there tonight. Chicago goes to play Detroit tomorrow night at the Palace in Motown. And then on Tuesday night, Rick and I will be in New York with the New Jersey Nets at the Knicks. The Knicks playing great basketball. The Nets, by the way, playing well on the road. They are 4-5 on the road. That's not much of a road trip. And the New York Knicks are 10-6 and 4-1 at home. So that ought to be a pretty good crosstown rivalry that we'll have for you next Tuesday. Skip Carey and Rick Barry will have the game for you Friday.
A lot can happen in a minute and 23, of course, in an NBA game. And obviously the Boston Celtics playing a little bit better than they played the other night when we had the what should have been scheduled for Halloween, because it was a nightmare Friday for us with 2 blowouts.
That, by the way, the 34% Boston shot against Cleveland was the lowest shooting percentage for Boston in the Larry Bird era.
Of course, Larry didn't play in that game.
Which has considerable to do with it. Boston also was horrible on free throws last Friday, 16 of 28. Tonight, they've only missed 3, 15 out of 18. 8 on the shot clock for Boston. A chance to tie. Down to 3. Nobody to go to. McHale throws up a prayer. Missed everything. It's a turnover.
24-second violation.
Boston, after the timeout, could come up with no more than that.
That is very surprising, Bob. And I know that the coaching staff very upset Jimmy Rogers, Chris Ford up there. That is really surprising. But credit Chicago with some excellent defense.
Under a minute to go in the ballgame. Bulls by 2. To Jordan. He's fouled by Lewis.
Foul on Reggie Lewis, his 3rd penalty.
Going to watch Michael Jordan make a cut. Well, we see the end of the play. He made the cut across. There's the body contact, and he still makes a good effort to get that ball in the basket after being hammered. But he had made a cut baseline and got Lewis committing, stopped on a dime, and made the cut back to the ball.
Michael Jordan is an 82% free throw shooter, but of course they don't keep statistics exactly like this, but in the final 2 minutes of a game, he's virtually 100%. I've rarely seen him miss one late in the ball game. Bulls go up by 4 with 51 seconds. Jimmy Rogers is going to see if he can do better with his set play in this timeout this time around. Let's go to Craig Sager in Atlanta.
Well, thank you, Bob. A lot of close games, not only at the Chicago Stadium, but all over the country. Madison Square Garden, the Denver Nuggets, the New York Knicks battling toe-to-toe from start to finish. And then beyond, the Knicks down by 2. Gerald Wilkins ties the game. It goes to overtime, where in the overtime period, Mark Jackson has 6 points already. Here he gets 2, driving right down the center of the lane. And the Knicks with the lead, and they're at the free throw line with a chance to put it away. 123 now to 121. It is in overtime. Denver, New York. Detroit and Milwaukee meeting for the first time this year. Central Division rivals. Look at the 3-point shot by Bill Laimbeer. Time running out in the first half. I hope we'll get to see it. Here it is right here. Double team. Laimbeer throws it up. He wants to be in the 3-point contest. Who knows? Maybe deserves to be. He fired that one in right through. That gave the Detroit Pistons the lead, but Milwaukee has come back early in the third quarter. Elsewhere, the Atlanta Hawks remain unbeaten at home. We will see Atlanta-Detroit Friday night. Seattle playing at San Antonio, where it's a 3-point game. Cleveland at Houston, where it's a 4-point difference. New Jersey loses at home, or about to maybe. That would be their third straight at home. And Washington-Phoenix, early score 17-10. Now back to Bob Neal, who is standing by with Rick Barry at the Chicago Stadium, where the Bulls and Celtics are involved in a close one as well. Gentlemen.
Craig, for that update around the NBA. 4-point Bulls lead, 51 seconds remaining in the game. Looking at the Boston bench, and in case you're wondering if maybe a three-pointer can save them, nobody who suited up for Boston tonight has hit a three-pointer all year. Ainge is out with the flu. Dennis Johnson has the only other three-pointer. He's on the bench in street clothes with a sore Achilles tendon.
Well, Jimmy Rogers right now wants to get a good two-point opportunity, not like they did the last time. There's still plenty of time to do that, stop the Bulls in the next possession, and come back down and have a chance to tie or win the ball game.
Chicago defense, tenacious, frenzy. Lewis. Rebound, Horace Grant. The Bulls did not give up a good shot. They played tremendous defense. Lewis with a foul. 20 seconds in the game, 8 on the shot clock when Lewis committed the foul.
Well, with 6 minutes to go in the game, Bob, you talked about how the game has swung back and forth with little peaks and valleys for both teams, and that the team that executed the best going down the stretch would win this ball game, and obviously it's been the Chicago Bulls. They prevented the Celtics from getting any type of good opportunity on the two most crucial possessions the Celtics had in this ball game, so Chicago's defense really came through when it needed to.
Well, of course, Chicago knew that the Celtics had to go inside because their perimeter game is on the bench. In terms of Ainge isn't on the bench, he's at the hotel with the flu.
Well, they knew that the whole game as well. They didn't do much to stop it, but they put a great effort forth, as you pointed out.
103-98. Tip in by Shaw. Bulls by 3. Jordan fouled by Shaw.
Foul on Ray Shaw. His fifth penalty.
Doug Collins' intensity level is at a playoff peak early in the season. He's got a team in transition here. Jimmy Rogers has a team with illness and injury. Jimmy Rogers been an assistant coach for many, many years and is certainly poised and was ready to take this job, replacing K.C. Jones. Red Auerbach said that the Celtics organization had made the decision quite some time ago on Jimmy Rogers, that it wasn't the offer from the Knicks that caused the Celtics to make the move. It's a Bulls 5-point lead as we have a 20-second timeout called by Jimmy Rogers. 8 seconds to go in the ball game.
Well, it doesn't look very good, of course, right here for Boston, but they certainly have played a very good basketball game for the majority of this time. You mentioned about how Doug Collins is very energetic and a playoff pitch. You see him on the sideline. He's one of the more animated coaches in the NBA. He's been running up and down the sideline the entire game, shouting out instructions to his team. He was very competitive as a player as well, and he's the same as a coach. And they say that a team reflects their coach, and I think that the Bulls, when they needed it, reflected Doug Collins with their frenetic defense there in those last 2 possessions.
I got a kick out of what he said. We heard about him talking to his #1 draft choice rookie, but yelling at him the other night. It was in the paper. He said, what's a coach supposed to do but yell? Lewis takes the 2-pointer in vain, and the Bulls hold on. 105-100. The Bulls go to 8-8 on the season. Boston drops to 8-9. And the Bulls have defeated the Celtics both encounters so far this year, and they will meet 2 times again this season. Rick and I will be back here with final comments in just a moment.
No trucks patrolling the parking lots. If you should have any trouble starting your car, like on a
Bob Neal and Rick Barry with you back here at Chicago Stadium, where the Bulls have defeated the Celtics by a score of 105-100. The Bulls took an early lead, then the Celtics led at the half and at the third quarter, but it was that fourth quarter surge by the Bulls when they outscored Boston 25-18 that they were able to come from behind to take the victory tonight. We'll be back with our player of the game right after this.
Well, back to our studio. As we mentioned, that game between New York and Denver in overtime was 123-121 when we left you. Is now 124-122. Fat Lever with a free throw. He has just missed it, and they went for a rebound. I'm watching on a different monitor, but it appears that this game is going to be over, or Fat Lever is going to go to a free throw line. They have called a foul, so it is not over. And here's one that is. Portland has defeated New Jersey 97-93, their third straight. But New York has a 2 lead, but Denver going to the free throw line. Back now to Bob Neal and Rick Barry at the Chicago Stadium.
Must be the moon. The other night, every game in the NBA was a 15-20 pointer. Tonight, every one of them is real close, including this one here. The Boston Celtics, the Chicago Bulls got out early, but then the Celtics led at halftime, led at the end of the third quarter, and Chicago came back in the fourth quarter, as you pointed out, a strong quarter for the Bulls, and outscored Boston 25-18, and the Boston inside game disappeared.
Well, yeah, Chicago really did it with their defense. In the fourth quarter, Kevin McHale had only 2 points, and Robert Parish had only 2 points in the entire second half. So the inability of the two big men for the Boston Celtics to come through, and the good Chicago defense and shutting down the inside game finally paid off for them.
Might point out also that we said before this ball game that Sam Vincent is a critically key player for the Chicago Bulls. He's been inconsistent, and that the Bulls needed a big game out of Vincent. Well, they got it. He is our Miller Lite player of the game.
Well, with 23 points, 11 assists, and 5 rebounds, and shooting that well, he did an excellent job directing this team. And if he can continue to play that way, it's his third straight game, the Chicago Bulls will start winning on a more regular basis.
We'll see how hot they are when they go to Detroit tomorrow night. On behalf of Miller Lite, Superstation TBS is proud to donate $1,000 to the United Cerebral Palsy Association in the name of Sam Vincent. Tonight's game produced by Rowan Backfish, directed by Tom Smith. Coordinating producer for NBA Basketball, Kimberly Belton. Executive producer of PBS Sports, Don McGuire. Technical director, Pete Kimball. Associate directors, Jeff Finke and Jay Hoover. Studio producer, Rodney Triplett. And studio director, Gary Lehman. For Rick Barry from Chicago, this is Bob Neal. So long, everybody.